within the next few days, dock workers from 36 different locations could all go on strike at the same exact time, leaving us in America without any imported goods. And not just us in America, but us in the North American hemisphere without any imported goods, which is not good whatsoever. Just a few days of this could have effects that last weeks. In just 1 week of this could take months to even out. Using Joe Biden's presidential power, he needs to make an effective executive order along the same lines as Reagan did when he was president, which gave the people that were on strike at the time 48 hours to make a deal. If no agreement is made within the 48 hours, the workers must return back to their jobs or they will get fired. When he did this, he ended up firing 11,000 people and also put them on a list to never get hired federally ever again. This is no different with very important jobs that our economy in America relies on. We cannot be messing around and we cannot be sleeping on the job as Joe Biden is doing currently. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen, and Joe Biden and his team needs to realize that he needs to act immediately to prevent this very thing from happening. It's the unions that helped us become safer workplaces, but now the unions aren't really doing much at all besides having these workers go on strike and costing us, the American citizens, middle-class families that Joe Biden says that he cares so much about, more money. With that being said, let's dig in.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right into the first article, we actually have what will actually happen when the dock workers will go on strike. It's looking increasingly, and this is a Daily Wire article, it's looking increasingly likely that the dock workers from the East Coast will launch a massive strike on Tuesday, shuttering 36 ports along the East and the Gulf Coast. If that happens, Americans could experience supply chain disruptions through Election Day and well into the holiday season. About 3/4 of the banana imports from the United States arrive at ports that will be affected by the strike. According to the chairman of the Michigan State University Department of the Supply Chain Management, coffee and cocoa imports will also be affected, as well as pharmaceutical imports, a third of which is routed through this port in Charleston, South Carolina. Contract negotiations between port ownership and International Longshoremen Association, which represents about 85,000 dock workers, broke down over the summer, and the two sides remain in a stalemate over both wages and automating port operations. A strike of this size could cause wide-ranging supply chain issues that could impact customers past Election Day and well into the holiday season. A national tree company, which sells artificial Christmas trees and other decorations, has rushed to import goods early to beat the strike, but expects to see 15% of its goods stranded in port strike if the port strike happens. So good luck trying to find a Christmas tree this year. A strike would delay some $32.8 billion of clothing imports and just about $23 billion of furniture imports. In this year that ended June 30th, about $37.8 billion in vehicle imports passed through these ports, and that they will now be shut down. According to the S&P Global Market Intelligence, Baltimore's port sees the most car shipments by any port in the country. Peter Kapoor, who has been importing fruit at his family's company, Kapoor Fruit, since 1958, warned that Americans will see prices rise sharply if the strike happens. Now, it's like a good thing and a bad thing. When the strike happens, it's obviously a very bad thing that this is going to happen. It's going to cost more on average Americans, middle-class families, lower-class families, higher class. Everybody's going to be paying more for fruit, for every single thing. The grocery prices are astronomically high now. Just wait until the strike actually happens. Now, the good thing, now this isn't even a good thing, but the slightly good thing, right, is that this is going to make Joe Biden and Kamala Harris look incredibly weak when it comes to negotiations in this scale. And they can't even say that the food prices are going down and inflation's going down if Americans are going to be paying more, double on top of the double that they're already paying under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's economy. This is something that is quite different since 50 to 60 years ago, because now the international commerce is a tremendous part of our economy, which is just absolutely disgusting. This is exactly why we need to bring things back here in America. You have 45,000 workers, I should say, affecting 350 million people. which is quite disgusting. This strike could also disrupt American exports of beef, cotton, and poultry. Poultry, I mean. About 70% of all poultry exports are more than a quarter of all eggs exports leave via East and Gulf Coast ports. According to customs data in the United States of America, poultry in egg and export console, nearly half of all port and exports set to travel by ship. About 45 to 30% of all beef exports were shipped out of the affected ports from January through July. United States Meat Export Federation spokesperson told Reuters. Supply chain shortages could cause prices to rise just as families are trying to recover from the nearly 20% strike in prices since before the pandemic. Inflation is one of the most important issues to voters this presidential election, which has Vice President Kamala Harris locked up in a tight race against former President Donald Trump less than 6 weeks out from Election Day. About 76% voters say that inflation is a major factor in their choice for president. An August CBS poll showed over half of voters favor Trump on the economy compared to 46% who favor Harris, a Fox News poll said. Harris has struggled to say how she would lower prices because she's not gonna. She's just lying straight to the American people. She has acknowledged that the bills add up, quote unquote, and that she promised that the building up the middle class would be the defining goal of the presidency. However, many of her proposals would require congressional approval, and the campaign has not offered many details about how to pay her expensive proposals, like a free $25,000 down payment for the first-time home buyers, which will increase the market by $25,000 because free money on the economy does not lower prices, it actually higher prices. Government interjection does not fix anything. If believe it or not, it really doesn't. It just makes everything a lot worse for the average American people. And then the government can say, well, we're from the government and we're here to help you, which is absolutely disgusting and should never be said at all. So with that being said, we have another article here. If I can get to it. Okay, so non-citizens say that they are registered to vote in key swing states. So several self-proclaimed non-citizens in the key battleground state of Arizona have said that they have registered to vote in November presidential election, with many saying that they support Vice President Kamala Harris over former President Donald Trump. Video obtained by the Heritage Oversight Project documents 6 self-proclaimed non-citizens in Phoenix, Arizona, who say that they are registered to vote while they were at work or the supermarket, with multiple also expressing that they'd prefer Harris over Trump. Arizona is a key battleground state, which was won by President Joe Biden just by 11,000 votes, indicating that the razor-thin margins could once again decide who garners the state's 11 electoral votes. Just out of curiosity, are you registered to vote? An undercover journalist asked one woman residing at the apartment complex in Phoenix. Yes, we're already registered, she responds, before admitting moments later that she's not an American citizen. But I thought American citizens don't vote in our elections. Huh, that's super weird. It's almost as if the Democrats are lying. Whoa, oh my goodness. Revolutionary, right? Another resident at the Phoenix apartment complex says that she is waiting for the residency right now, and she is not a citizen, but that he is registered to vote. The resident says that he registered in the place of the assistants where they help the Hispanics when they come here. I marked yes so I could vote, but if you wish, you could register me. The non-citizen says that he is from Cuba, and he went to say that he preferred Harris over Trump. While some say that they registered to vote at work or at a supermarket, some non-citizens say that the conservators registered them to vote at the apartment complex, which is just absolutely disgusting. They're now going house to house registering people to vote. They never did this for me, and I'm an American citizen. According to one resident, however, the complex primarily houses foreign nationals. This is not a single citizen here, he explains. Then, of course, this is exactly why they go there. Then same non-citizen bemoans the increase in prices over Biden-Harris administration and touts Trump as a businessman, but complains that Trump says that he'll start deporting people on the first day, which, okay, okay, first of all, I don't think he ever said that he's going to deport people on the first day, but if he did, then that's actually a good thing, because you don't belong in this country if you came here illegally. Get your green card, come through the right way, have your papers, pay taxes, stuff like that. Then you can have a step closer into becoming a United States citizen. The video comes as conservatives have warned that illegal immigrants could vote in American elections, with some on the left mocking the concern as the big lie of 2024 or a myth, which is not a myth, because what are you saying? They're lying about themselves? No. Who do I trust more, them or the Democratic Party that lied about millions of other things in the past? I trust this illegal immigrant. It is obvious to me and other reasonable Americans on the left that they decided that they can maintain power is through illegal votes. Mike Howell, executive director of the Heritage Foundation Oversight Project, told the Daily Wire, if they have any interest to legitimacy, they need to immediately abandon this anti-American strategy. The video comes just after America First Legal announced that it was suing all 15 Arizona counties, alleging that they refuse to remove illegal aliens from their voter rolls. Virginia and Texas, meanwhile, has removed non-citizens for their voter rolls, which is completely good because Texas is actually doing the good work here. Arizona is like, it's okay, just leave them. Some leftist organizations are attempting to leverage mass immigration to alter the outcome of the America's elections. Once the Daily Wire investigation revealed that the left-wing nonprofits funded by the Democrat mega donor George Soros is working to neutralize non-citizens and mobilize them as voters. One such organization maintains Democratic reports of key swing states and boasts that immigration could sway the outcome of the national, state, and local elections. Meanwhile, the Biden-Harris administration has presided over the most severe border crisis in American history. More than 10 million people have crossed the border under Biden-Harris, with an estimated 1.7 million illegal immigrant gotaways recorded since Biden was inaugurated in 2021. There was a total of 415 reported gotaways in 2018, 19, and 20, which is just absolutely crazy. So 3 years of this compared to 4 years of this. And obviously, there's like a 4 to 5 times amount under Biden-Harris than when Trump was there. So again, this is just telling you how much the Democratic Party just thinks that you're stupid, thinks that you're not going to look at the facts, and thinks that you don't know anything as an American citizen. It's just a big slap in the face, and we need to remember this in November. So with that being said, we do have another article from the Federalist. Here we have exactly what Kamala Harris is going to be doing. So this is the article. If Harris can eliminate the filibuster for Roe, she can nuke it for fracking bans and gun control too, of course. Democrats will use abortion as a wedge issue to nuke the filibuster, allowing them to enact many other bad policies. What does abortion have to do with the future of fracking in the United States? Much more than one expects. Kamala Harris's announcement that she supports an exception to the filibuster underscores the stakes in November's election. If Democrats gain unified control on both sides of the Congress and the White House in January, Harris's statement makes clear that they will undoubtedly use the power to pass radical legislation, not just on abortion, but on energy and many other topics. Democrats will nuke the filibuster. At risk of mixing metaphors during a discussion about abortion policy, one cannot be half pregnant when it comes to Senate filibuster. Harris talks of an exception masks when it ultimately is a binary choice. You either support the legislative filibuster or you do not. Consider that in 2013 when Senate Democrats abolished the filibuster rule for presidential nominees, both executive branch officials and lower court judges, while retaining a carve-out that still required 60 votes to confirm Supreme Court justices. That 60-vote requirement for the Supreme Court justices lasted until the next vacancy on the Supreme Court, whereupon Republicans, who by then had retaken the Senate, abolished the Senate filibuster for presidential nominees entirely. To use Harris's own phraseology, hear her when she says, we should eliminate the filibuster. She doesn't just mean for codifying Roe v. Wade. She means for anything that gets in Democrats' way. Harris and other Democrats have proposed so many different exceptions to the filibuster that even by the end of a 2-year Congress, the rule would ultimately look like Swiss cheese. Whenever they regained unified control, Republicans would not and should not agree to a one-sided fight, where passing Democrat priorities takes only 51 Senate votes. By passing Republican priorities takes 60 senators and would likely abolish the filibuster outright in tri-rail to the left wing. In attacking Kamala Harris's gambit, Senator Joe Manchin resorted to a bit of a hyperbole when he called the filibuster the holy grail of democracy. Both the secret ballot and the First Amendment likely matter more when it comes to the preserving freedom of thought and expression in the country. But Manchin accurately summarized the danger when he said that the filibuster is the only thing that keeps us from talking and working together. In the Senate, if Harris gets rid of that, then this would be the House on steroids. In this sense, he is currently correct when changing the filibuster would unleash the radical fairies of his former Democrat colleagues. For instance, Senator Bob Casey, Democrat from Pennsylvania, is responding to Harris's comments, said that the 60-vote rule had been an impediment and to process on a whole host of fronts, citing voting rights, women's rights, workers' rights, common sense gun measures. Yeah. Okay, so again, they're just trying to push exactly what they want. And if something gets in the way of them actually pushing what they want, like, them actually discussing what they want and convincing other people what they actually want to do, then they want it to just be upended. What we need to do is we need to actually have more talking, a whole entire breakdown of the bill. Each person must read or at least one person has to read the whole entire bill out loud in Congress in order to get it passed. That's not how it is now. I think that that's how it should be. The bill should be read out loud, and everybody must follow along with the bill and see if they actually agree with it or not. And the whole entire bill must be televised on live TV for everybody to see this is exactly what should happen. Yes, it's going to be boring, but it does not matter if it's going to be a 1,000-page bill or a 10,000-page bill. Read the whole thing. Hire somebody, read it out loud for everybody to see this is exactly what should happen. And then you must debate each segment of the bill to see if you want to pass this bill, each separately. This is exactly what we should do, because then it's transparency to the full max. This is the bill, each section, we're voting on each section of the bill. And then if each section of the bill does not get passed, then we must take out that one section that didn't get enough. That's exactly what should happen. It's full transparency here. So, of course, getting rid of the filibuster just means that they don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to actually talk about anything. They can just go straight to the vote and that's it. It's just disgusting. No, that's not what should happen whatsoever. We need to actually talk about bills more. We cannot get rid of the talking of the bills and just pass whatever the heck goes in front of your desk. So, with that being said, we're going to end off this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.